Thanks to the diligence of the FBI, this podcast will no longer be a threat to the United States of America. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is the number 3 box office star in America, Thoreau Smiley. I am joined by...
I'm Josh Cece, and I'm going to make it to nationals.
I'm Brian Lesh, and you can pay me dollars, not Deutschmarks.
Prepare yourself for a shock. I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence, the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and then we tell you all about it. If you're a regular listener, or even a new listener, and you like us, then we're just asking you to head on over to iTunes, leave us a review, and rate us. It's the best and easiest way to support the show, other than going over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment and signing up for a bunch of free bonus episodes, which are not available in the free feed. So do that if you like us or if you don't.
Just tell us how you feel.
Yeah. I don't care how you feel as long as you do it. So. This week, we are watching 1991's The Rocketeer.
To some, it was the fulfillment of a dream. To others, it was an instrument of destruction. A creation that could change the course of history.
It was stolen from my factory.
Where's the package?
This is the FBI!
What do we tell the president?
Tell me exactly why this merchandise is so important to the feds.
It's a rocket.
A rocket?
What? What's the matter?
I don't know. There's something under the seat.
Oh, my. What do we got here? What are you supposed to do? Is it a bomb or something?
No.
I wouldn't touch that if I were you.
How do I look?
Like a hood ornament.
Stand clear.
What was that?
A flying man!
Big gopher.
Are you trying to kill yourself? I like it. Uh-oh, we got company.
You steer, I'll push. For what?
I will not rocket Eddie. Not next week, not tomorrow. Now.
Keep your eyes open for this dame.
Jenny's in trouble.
They're working for a Nazi agent.
With an army equipped with these, you could rule the world.
You touch one hair on her head, I swear I'll...
Shoot him!
We've got the girl. The rocket will come to us.
I love her, Peeve. Does she know that?
She's gonna find out.
Let him have it! Hand over the rocket!
The Rocketeer.
Go get him, kid.
Disney's The Rocketeer. Let's see. It was released June 21st, 1991. It accidentally clicked the YouTube link. It has 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. It cost $40 million to make, took in $46.7 million. So it was fine. It did all right. It wasn't a huge hit, but it made its money back. This movie was based on a comic book. Al, do you know anything about that?
A little bit. Look some up. There was not an extensive run of The Rocketeer, and The Rocketeer only first appeared in 1982 in Pacific Comics. The creator was Dave Stevens. Dave Stevens was known for his pinup style of glamour art. He's a huge fan of Betty Page. He did a lot of drawings of Betty Page in his pinup style.
World War II bomber planes.
Yeah,
the way they'd have the sweethearts on them. Yeah, bombshells.
And the Rocketeer's girlfriend Jenny was actually modeled after Betty Page in the comics.
Right on.
Okay.
And Jennifer Connolly's.
She's got a similar-ish look.
Similar look, yeah. The dark hair.
She's a dish.
Indeed.
So it first appeared in 1982, the Pacific Comics title Star Slayer. It wasn't in its own Rocketeer comic book at that time. Star Slayer numbers 2 and 3 for the 2 first installments. And then there were 2 more installments in Pacific Presents numbers 1 and 2. The 5th installment and conclusion came in the Rocketeer, released by Eclipse Comics. So it jumped companies there. The trade paperback collecting the first 5 installments, I believe, was published in April 1990. So not long before this movie came out. And that the movie was largely based on that whole
run.
That whole run, that story. It would go on to continue. The story would be continued in Comico Comics, Rocketeer Adventure Magazine. There were 2 issues in 1988 and 89, and then there was a 3rd installment that didn't come out until 1995 in Dark Horse.
Wow. A lot of different labels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really got around.
So this was inspired a lot by old 30s through 50s serials. There were
totally.
There were 4 different serials that portrayed different rocket men. They weren't all the same. But made by Republic Pictures between 1949 and 1953, including Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe, not to be confused with Commander Cody.
From the Star Wars prequels.
And there's a band.
And the look of his uniform and the jetpack were very similar.
I think the jetpack was made by a Moleman. Didn't it look just like the vacuum?
Yeah,
it looked like the vacuum. And then,
silver.
the vacuum that they used looked like that vacuum.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
I think the helmet is unique to the Rocketeer, but I could be wrong about that.
I think,
I mean, it's got a kind of iconic look to it.
Yeah. So currently, there's a new Rocketeer show on Disney.
Whoa.
That's geared towards the younger kids.
Sure.
It's CG, right? Or is it's like a CGI animated?
Yeah.
It's not a live action.
Yeah.
No, it's not live action. Definitely, it's the 3D animation.
Okay. This.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you know anything about characters in the comic versus characters in the movie? Where was pretty much everybody?
I do not.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
I know.
I can guarantee Lothar was definitely a character in the movie.
Yeah,
they really were trying to make him look like
I was going to say, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that dude was drawn.
Because if not, then why?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
Why? The only human.
So this movie, the work started on the script in 1985.
Jesus.
It took them a while to. It went through a lot of permutations, went through a lot of different producers until they finally got it made. Took a few years to get it off the ground. Let's see. It was written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo. Their first script, which they produced themselves, was Trancers in 1985, which it's a noir tale about time-traveling detective from the future. 5 sequels were made.
Yeah.
Well, which if you've seen,
it ain't broke.
If you've watched that trailer, like I did, 5 sequels will blow your mind.
I watched that trailer.
I also watched that.
Yeah.
They made 5 of those.
5 of those.
Trancers.
Did you guys watch the trailer for The Return of Captain Invincible, starring Alan Arkin
I didn't get
as
to
Captain
know.
Invincible?
No.
You need to do that. when we're off the air, we're going to watch that trailer together because it is insane.
Is it a superhero movie you did?
Yeah, but it was never released theatrically.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't. It didn't make our list.
What year did it come out?
81 or 2, somewhere around there, maybe 3.
Captain Invincible.
The Return of
Return
Captain
of Captain
Invincible.
Invincible. Yeah.
He was there, and then he left, and now he's back.
Now he's back. Yeah.
I
That
recall
explains his age.
I recall this coming up in the research of a previous show that we did. I don't remember which one. I was trying to figure it out, but I think I recall that it was released, but not in the U.S. It was Australia.
Right. It didn't make it to the U.S.
Yeah.
We have to. Yeah, we're doing just because there's a ton of like little regional ones. Like we'd have to be doing like Iranian and like Hindu language films in order to like
Bollywood.
Yeah, if we were gonna. Yeah, so we said it has to be released in the United States.
Yeah, we got to draw a line somewhere.
At one point, we'll catch up, and we
That
can
is
start
right.
doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, at some point we are going to catch up, and we're going to have to switch gears to do something else in between movies being released. But
There was Luis showed me a movie that was Russian made, and it was kind of like a Russian Avengers looking thing.
Oh, I saw that trailer. You showed that to me too.
There was a guy with a bear's head.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool, but I think it was called one of the worst movies in
I think it was
existence.
more trailer than movie.
Yeah.
Interesting people.
yeah. Okay, so anyways, after that, they wrote 2 comedies, Zone Troopers and The Wrong Guys, and then this was their next film. They didn't do a ton of movies after The Rocketeer. They mostly executive produced and wrote for various action, adventure, and sci-fi series throughout the 90s, including the 90s television Flash, Viper, Human Target, and The Sentinel.
They worked on this movie for 5 years.
Yeah, they spent 5 years writing this movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was their big Hollywood shebang.
I mean, it paid off. It's good, but I mean,
Right, but 5 years.
It's a good script.
It's not Star Wars, but
no, it's not Star Wars, but it's a good,
like,
tight script that's perfect for like a live action 90s Disney film.
They were waiting for that 5th installment of the comic book to come out. That was the linchpin. That's what
Pacific Comics, don't leave us hanging.
well, and
We're just Disney.
Joe Johnston and this, it feels so era specific. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Well, like he did Captain America,
Oh, he did.
which
Yeah.
the first
Okay.
Avenger.
So yeah, this was directed by Joe Johnston,
Joe.
who
Joe
also,
John.
Yes, JJ.
Your name is Joe John?
JJ, not Abrams. So
Just JJ.
He also directed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Page Master, Jumanji, October Sky, Jurassic Park 3, Hidalgo. The Wolfman will be seeing his work again on Captain America: The First Avenger, as you mentioned. Not Safe for Work and The Nutcracker and the Four Realms are the only 2 movies he's made since The First Avenger.
Well, that's a superhero movie too, I'm sure. Nutcracker and the Four
In
Realms.
the Four Realms. Or it's a porno.
he did do a
Volcano Los Dos.
few episodes of Young Indiana Jones.
And that makes sense too. Just this seems to be a thing that he does really well. I mean, looking ahead at Captain America, I can see it all over this.
Yeah.
He hates Nazis.
Yeah, he hates Nazis.
He's got a
too.
Nazi thing.
I like him.
It's all about it. The music was by James Horner, our first instance of that. James Horner, who did, this is a very short list. There's roughly 5 times as many movies as this on his credits, but Wolfen,
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Wolfen, The Wrath of Khan, 48 Hours, Crawl, The Search for Spock, Cocoon, Volunteers, Commando, Aliens, An American Tail, Willow, The Land Before Time, Field of Dreams, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Glory, Patriot Games, Hocus Pocus, The Man Without a Face, Braveheart, Apollo 13, Jumanji, Titanic, Deep Impact, A Beautiful Mind, Avatar, and The Amazing Spider-Man.
I wonder if Horner and Johnston know each other, or if they were just kind of like put together by some producer or something. Because they worked on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids together too previously. to this.
So
and that's all Disney. So I mean, I wonder
yeah.
if they were all just under the mouse's.
Yeah, they both did
command.
a few Disney things. Yeah.
What was it? Just me, or was there not very much score in this movie?
It wasn't a ton. It wasn't as lush and overwhelming.
It was subtle, but there were moments where there were big musical.
Well, there were swells
yeah.
when he's flying and things like that. But
and there was like a strong theme. It was very. I mean, it's Horner. That's what he does. Is like,
but you're right. There was a lot less than there would be if, say, John Williams had scored it.
Oh yeah,
who puts music in every second of the movie?
Yeah.
This starred Bill Campbell, who first gained recognition as Luke Fuller on Dynasty. Then he became known for playing Rick Samler on Once and Again. Just what they tell me on Wikipedia, anyways. He played Jordan Collier in the 4400. He was in Tales of the City. He had a recurring role on The Killing and Helix, and he also appeared in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's mostly a TV guy.
Yeah.
In 1988, he was on an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. The episode was The Outrageous Okona, and he portrayed Captain Okona.
Mm-hmm.
He was
That name's
the ship. His ship was like in trouble. It's kind of drifting out in space, and the Enterprise finds it. And there are two separate planets that are trying to take him into custody.
Oh.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I remember that one. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I think so too.
The story also had a love interest, and the love interest was played by Terry Hatcher.
Oh.
Nice.
Lois.
I think he's an interesting casting because he's not anybody famous necessarily. He's not like a household name. Like if this had been Tom Cruise, it would have been a way different movie.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
know?
But then,
Not to say Tom Cruise necessarily, but
well, this guy had that 30s dashing kind of.
Yeah,
he fit kind of a proto Indiana Jones kind of thing.
But at the same time, he has like a generic enough face that he's not like really distinctive as an actor or a human.
I wonder what Disney's whole strategy was.
I think
in
you're probably
casting
right.
him.
Yeah.
It's like they're like, we don't need a leading man. We're just going to put a mask on him anyway.
Well, they probably saw
He's on TV.
there weren't many superhero movies before this one, but
Yeah.
they probably noticed that like sometimes it can be distracting depending on who's under the mask.
like Keaton.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
like
He's
probably expensive too.
And luckily, Keaton worked in Batman, but it
Yeah.
was,
Oh yeah, he did
it was
a fantastic job.
It was a thing where he made it known he's Michael Keaton. Like he's not just your average Bruce Wayne.
But Billy Campbell, I thought he really worked for this role.
He was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
just
was
interesting
As the dashing
because
30s flyboy.
It's not that Disney doesn't have money to cast people even then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously, look at the rest of these people. They're all
Disney's been okay for a while.
Yeah,
Money wise, they're doing fine.
They had to stop borrowing from their brother Roy.
They're still saving up to thaw old Walt though.
Oh yeah, his cyborg body is almost complete.
A couple more billion, they can pull it off.
He's like, wait, you guys are you're not on the side of the Nazis? I've been
What the hell is
asleep
this
a long
Rocketeer
time.
movie?
I've been asleep a long time.
Things have changed.
Here, there, Walt.
The ladies?
What do
You
you
can
mean?
fly zeppelins now.
Song of the South's not on Disney Plus. This is outrageous.
He knows what Disney Plus
Fucking
is. though.
Walt Disney. Yeah.
It was in his will.
When the internet's invented, we're gonna conquer it with my movies
Oh yeah,
and fresh content.
almost every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, God.
Yes.
So yeah, he was good casting. Billy
Yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah, he was great. He was fine. he was the man that
He's
that
not
got the
related to
role.
Bruce Campbell, is he?
I don't. I doubt it.
They're dashing in the same way.
It was
but,
very.
Yeah.
They're kind of. I was like, this could have been Bruce Campbell.
but I'm sure this dude got it just mainly on the haircut. You know, like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Your haircut doesn't move. We like that. No matter what you're doing.
This co-starred Alan Arkin with hair.
With hair, yeah.
Yeah, he's arcing up the wrong tree.
Woohoo! He's known for a lot of movies. Man's in a
Return
lot.
of Captain Invincible.
A lot.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The lead,
Start
again,
there and
when-
then
all
go
remember
down.
that.
Everyone listening, go watch the trailer.
At least
It
everybody
is-
in Australia remembers it. I'm
Ooh,
sure.
I'm not going to even tell you guys too much about it because it's crazy.
I love him in the In-Laws, the original In-Laws
Yeah.
with Peter Falk.
Yes, that was
really
great.
funny.
Yeah.
Gross Point Blank, his character's so good in that.
Yes. Glengarry Glen Ross.
Oh, yeah, of course.
13 Conversations About One Thing, Little Miss Sunshine, Argo, Catch 22.
Yeah.
He's been in
Yeah.
a million movies.
Yossarian.
Yeah, he was Yossarian, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're a very weird man, Yossarian. Mike Nichols had to tell Orson Welles that right, but
Hey,
Sorry.
has anyone here
Another
watched?
guy who wouldn't learn his lines.
Right. Has anyone here watched the Catch 22 Hulu series yet?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Neither have I.
Oh.
I was just curious because I keep meaning to get around to it.
Well, you can watch it, but if you know you're watching it, it doesn't really count. You're not watching. I tried to make that work.
Alan Arkin was also in that brilliant Mother Night.
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
Oh,
that was a
yes.
good one.
That was good.
That was way better than. I mean, there's only been 4 Vonnegut ones, right? Slaughterhouse 5,
Right.
Breakfast of Champions, Mother Night, and the one about with Sean Astin. What was it?
Oh.
The short story. The Harrison Bergeron.
Oh. I love that story. That was the first thing I'd read.
Yeah. But Mother Night was definitely the best of them all.
Yeah.
There were a couple more I wanted to mention on Alan Arkin. I was surprised he was in the Jerky Boys.
Oh my God! I did
Really?
not know that. I did not see
I never
that.
I saw that, and I loved the Jerky Boy.
I
was like, "Don't you show me them?"
I remember listening to the cassettes when we were in high school, Josh. Your cassettes.
Yeah, loved them.
Edward
Now it would
Scissorhands.
not work.
Yeah.
Edward
Oh,
Scissorhands.
yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's great.
He was also in 4 episodes of Sesame Street between 1970 and 1971.
He played Big Bird.
He
Larry,
was the
actually.
voice of J.D. Salinger in Bojack Horseman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes! Oh my God! Have you watched BoJack Horseman?
I haven't gotten
Not that
that.
far.
Watch
Yeah.
BoJack
Oh, I
Horseman.
watched some of it. Yeah.
It's,
We have another actor from BoJack Horseman in this also. I mean,
is it?
Suspense.
I'm not sure.
it's
There's a lot of guest stars in that show, so I don't know who it is.
Margo Martindale,
Oh, that's right. Yes.
who plays Millie in this at
Oh,
the diner.
that's right.
Oh,
She's
Character actress
she is
Margo
a-
Martindale.
Yeah, she's Dewey Cox's
Her-
mom in the Legend of Dewey Cox.
The character's name on BoJack Horseman is character actress Margo Martindale.
Yeah.
and she ends up going
She is
on.
one.
She ends up going on. She plays herself.
Yeah.
And she ends up going on a killing spree and having to hide out at a nunnery as character actress Margo Martindale.
Oh my God.
Well, that's fantastic.
BoJack Horseman is made
We're going to light us a candle.
in the fourth or fifth season.
Whoa, there's been that many?
Yeah, there's a whole episode that's just him
Time is
giving
depressing.
this heartfelt eulogy at his mother's funeral, and the entire thing is just a setup for a single line at the end of the thing, which is just a laugh line. But it's 20 minutes of him eulogizing his mother who never loved him. That show's amazing.
Yeah.
Margo Martindale has also been voicing Ma Beagle on the new DuckTales.
Yes, she has been.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Hey everybody, Thoreau from the Harmless Entertainment Network here. Do you like music? I do, and I know a lot of other people that do too, so we decided to start a new show. It's called A Personal History of Sound. Every week I'll invite on a different guest, we'll listen to a different album, and then we'll talk about it. And if you become a patron, you can hear it first at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Don't worry though, it'll be coming to a free feed near you soon enough. That's A Personal History of Sound from the Harmless Entertainment Network, coming soon. We also got Jennifer Connolly, who was made her premiere on Once Upon a Time in America. We saw her in Labyrinth, Career Opportunities, Mulholland Drive, Dark City, Requiem for a Dream. We certainly saw her in that. We'll see her again in Hulk. And she appeared in, well, she did not appear. She was in Spider-Man Homecoming as the voice of Karen Parker's suit.
Right. And what was... Oh, A Beautiful Mind? Did you say that one?
Yeah, Beautiful Mind. We got Paul Cervino.
Paulie.
Paulie Cicero. He also played Sergeant Phil on the Law and Order. He was in Touch of Class, Reds, Dick Tracy, Nixon, Romeo and Juliet. He's the dad of...
He was very good in Nixon.
Yes.
Yeah. Kissinger shout-outs.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking of a turtle. He's the father of actors Mira Cervino and Michael Cervino.
I'm sorry. Who's the second one?
I don't know. Mikey. Mikey.
Poor Mikey.
Little Mikey Cervino.
Your sister won an Oscar.
Before getting Weinsteined. No, she did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not making that up. It was fucked up.
I know.
Have you noticed she hasn't been in a movie in the last 15 years?
Yes. Yeah.
So then we got Timothy Dalton. Sorry, we got dark there for a second.
Yeah. No, but it's that's true.
Yeah.
She won an Oscar for a Woody Allen movie made through Miramax.
Yeah.
Gross. Poor lady.
Yeah, and then turned down Harvey Weinstein's advances and got blacklisted.
Yep. Just like Elia Kazan. He wouldn't let Harvey Weinstein goose him.
Timothy Dalton is in this.
He sure is.
Yeah, he's really in this.
Yeah, man.
He's great.
Woo! He is great. I found out, I was not aware of this. So he is best known as playing James Bond in two fabulous James Bond films.
Yes.
The Living Daylights and License to Kill, 1987 and 89 respectively. He was first offered the role of James Bond in 1971 when he was 24 years old.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
But he was dashing, even more dashing than.
And he declined it, right?
He declined. He said he was too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He himself thought he was too young.
Good for him.
That's impressive to turn down the
James
Bond role.
Bond,
I mean,
Yeah. He turned it down again in the early 80s because he didn't like the campy
at
direction
point.
that they were going
The
in.
Roger Moore type vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I love, but I get it.
He was offered it in 87 because what's his face? The next
Connery.
not Connery.
Oh,
Connery came back.
No, Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan could not get out of his contract with what show was that? Remington Steele.
Remington
Steel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So Dalton did his too, and then Brosnan, because Brosnan's were after.
Yeah.
Denise Richards.
He was in Flash Gordon. I forgot.
Yes, he was in Flash Gordon, which my wife is very upset we didn't do. I maintain it's not a superhero movie, but that's an argument for another day. He starred as Rhett Butler in the sequel to Gone with the Wind, Scarlet, from 1994.
94?
94.
Yeah.
It was a made for TV.
Oh, yeah, I hope
miniseries.
so. Got a lot of nerve.
He was in Hot Fuzz, and he played Mr. Pricklepants in Toy Story 3 and 4.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And did Al?
He was there were a couple of episodes of Doctor Who, a two-parter, The End of Time, parts 1 and 2. He was another Time Lord.
Oh, cool.
And also the narrator.
Didn't know that.
6 episodes of Chuck, which was a fun show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Al's on record for enjoying Chuck. We know.
He's a Chuckhead.
Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah, that show.
14 to 16, Sir Malcolm Murray. And the Doom Patrol on DC.
He's really good on that.
As Niles Calder, a.k.a. Chief.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he does a good job. The Dalton.
Yeah, the Dalton.
He was great in this, man. Just every time he was on screen.
Yeah. No,
he just drink him in. He's just so wild. He's a Shakespearean actor, and you can just feel the intensity coming out of him.
Yeah, no, he was tearing it up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and he's getting to play Errol Flynn, but he's not Errol Flynn, so he doesn't have to be stuck to that.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah.
Was Errol Flynn ever confirmed to be a
Nazi sympathizer?
Not just a sympathizer, but like
an actual Nazi?
Yeah.
Was he? Errol
I don't
Flynn?
know, because that was the rumor.
I mean, I definitely know.
And that's what they were playing
He was
into
considered
with
a
this.
sympathizer. I don't know if he was ever actually considered to be like
by
a
the
Nazi
40s, he
spy.
was gone, right?
Yeah.
There was no Errol.
Yeah, his heyday was the late 20s to mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
But who knows? Yeah. In old Hollywood.
Yeah. Ooh.
It was a debaucherous
We think
place.
shit's crazy now.
Yeah.
Hollywood in like the 20s, 30s.
Right.
Do a Walt Disney thawing
You
session.
can look up Hollywood Babylon. It's a book and a documentary. But yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
shit. There's a great podcast too. You Must Remember This.
Oh.
Every week they do a different story about like they had a mini series about Marilyn Monroe. They had a mini series about Greta Garbo. Like they do like 3 or 4 episodes based on a single actor or actress at a time.
Right.
There's I don't know a couple hundred episodes at this point, but it's really good.
And they get into the nitty gritty.
Oh yeah,
old Hollywood. And,
they really get going on. They talk Ava Gardner's abortions and everything. It's
so many.
Yeah.
Wow. So many little Sinatras flushed out.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
He was married to her for a long time. Ooh. Okay, sorry. Apparently, folks at home, I just told these guys what abortions are. Thoreau brought them up.
The little Sinatra's flushed out.
Yeah, it's a dirty world, folks. Grow up.
We just live in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So, speaking of dirty worlds, this was watched, reviewed, and talked about by Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Really, those two?
Watching The Rocketeer, I was reminded of the cheerful and simple-minded science fiction thrillers of years ago, like Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, even Captain Video. If movies like Indiana Jones were inspired by the old Saturday afternoon serials, The Rocketeer is more like a copy of them, right down to the wooden, grade B acting of Bill Campbell as the hero. The Rocketeer doesn't have any charisma as a character, and the plot's pretty dumb, but in an innocent way, this movie is good-hearted and entertaining, and I liked it, but I wish it had had a little more edge to it.
Well, I think the point was not to have too much edge to it, save for the fact that they do treat the Nazis as true bad guys. They don't trivialize them. There is, within this picture, quite an amazing little fake documentary Nazi film that was done very, very well. So they're not just trotting them out as cardboard stock villain figures. I thought that the picture, I thought he had it exactly right, that it is more Tom Swifty and Buck Rogers, not the hard-driving Spielberg kind of picture. It's getting some complaints from people that it isn't that way. It isn't supposed to be. It's more gentle. I thought it was a lot more fun than the last Indiana Jones picture.
I had some questions about that Nazi propaganda film. It shows hordes of Nazis flying in their one-man rocket suits across the Atlantic to conquer America. Now, Gene, I had some questions, such as, would you get sunburned if you flew 4,000 miles? Would you run out of gas? Would your heels get singed by the rocket exhaust?
I don't think...
Would you be in any condition to fight after you were strapped to a rocket pack and you flew across the ocean?
Let me tell you something. The film, one of the tests that this film passes for me is that it was very entertaining and a lot of fun, and it didn't bother me that we don't figure out why the Rocketeer, with those jet flames coming out of his can, doesn't burn his legs. It's never dealt with, and I didn't care. I thought the picture was joyful.
They're saving that for the sequel. Coming up next, a drama about a feisty old woman who is anything but a typical sweet old movie lady.
Who is he talking about?
What is a typical sweet old movie lady?
Yeah, I don't know, Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah.
That's a man.
Yeah, I don't even know which one that is.
These guys, man.
According to this, they did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. This is with wolves? Wait, what? Those were both Kevin Costner. High Noon, the Adventures of... Wait, no, am I looking at the wrong one? Oh, here we go. Dine Young, Kickboxer 2, The Rocketeer. Tatey Daniel. Daniel must have been the old lady.
No, I think it was Kickboxer.
Kickboxer 2.
About a little old movie lady.
Kickboxer 2, a sequel to a movie I did not watch. Was all Gene Siskel had to say about it. Just introduce it.
Well, and in that, so he likes it better than the last Indiana Jones movie.
He likes it better than,
The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
That's the second best one that they, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's better. It's better than Temple of Doom.
Wow, that didn't tickle Siskel at all.
Not at all. So The Rocketeer, gentlemen, you ready to get on into the movie?
Sure.
Let's make some history.
Yes.
Let's burn our heels.
Here it is. Disney's
but not our pants.
The Rocketeer. We open on an airfield in 1938 Los Angeles. Pilot Cliff Secord is trying out his new airplane. He runs into a chase between the FBI and two gangsters in cars. The gangsters shoot down Cliff's plane and crash their car into a hangar.
So they keep talking about the Nationals so much in this.
It was like an episode of Community.
It was, yeah. Like I don't.
I
like
assume
wrestling.
it was like the Red Bull air race kind of thing.
Yeah. It was the national, or it was a spelling bee.
Or maybe, and I guess it's not Howard Hughes hosting it because
nobody mentions it.
Yeah.
Because at the end, he's like, this one's ready for Nationals.
Yeah.
So how many Nationals did Howard Hughes have to compete in?
Right. Well, and that's what I thought. I was like,
he won with that plane he invented.
Because he's the aviation billionaire.
You might say he's the aviator.
It's just they throw the word around so vaguely because, it's usually associated with athletics and high schools and such. It's just, I mean,
sure. I'm sure there's some,
1938.
I imagine it's racing, right?
Yeah,
Not like tricks and stuff.
Airplane racing, yeah.
Yeah. So... I don't know. That's something that didn't really catch on in the public imagination.
Yeah, it just seems out of place, the word.
Well, and this is kind of an alternate
air race
universe,
has a much more dramatic.
Yeah, being like the Nationals for
the big air race
or the big blah blah blah. Yeah. We got to go up through the.
We're gonna get our Letterman jackets this time.
We got to pass regionals first. And
he mentions regionals,
regionals, and then secondary regionals, then the nationals, then the introductory regionals.
Miss Teen Mount Rose.
So one of the gangsters is shot to death, and the getaway driver switches his loot with a vacuum cleaner. And stunt pilot
Made by mole men. It looked just like that.
It did. Yeah. It did.
Did anybody notice one of the pilots helping was named Goose? He was the guy that started the propeller.
Yeah.
That's a little nod.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's after Top Gun that's already existed.
yeah.
So they're like, this pilot's Goose. Because we like I don't know. They like that he died, or it was a tribute.
Yeah. So the stunt pilot Cliff's plane crashes in the resulting auto airplane accident. The FBI is not interested in the loss of Cliff and his mechanic Peavy's plane, and the gangster is sent to the hospital. The FBI assume the destroyed jacket or vacuum is the thing they're looking for, and they call its owner Howard Hughes, who is with a couple of generals. Howard Hughes is happy it's been destroyed, and he burns the blueprints of the device so that it could never be built again.
It was cool having him as a character.
Yeah, definitely.
And Terry O'Quinn killed it. I mean, he did such a good job. But
yeah, no,
very
he was a great Howard
charismatic,
Hughes.
kind of weird, quirky.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He, you know who he kept reminding me of? John, what's his face on Mad Men?
Oh, Slattery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, John
he
Slattery?
kept
Yeah.
reminding me of Slattery as Tony Stark's dad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, because he's supposed to be
Howard Hughes. Basically,
Right,
yeah. But it was cool how similar those two characters playing one Howard Hughes and one Howard Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so. Very different from DiCaprio's Howard Hughes.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy did pee in jars and like never trim his nails. And
Well, yeah.
He got real weird towards the end.
Right.
Yeah. If anyone listening doesn't know who Howard Hughes is, it's a wild ride.
It is, yeah. And in this, he goes to he shows them that newsreel or whatever. But like, I was just hoping it was going to be Ice Station Zebra, which is the movie that Howard Hughes watched on a loop for like the last 10 years of his life.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's all, take a look at this, gentlemen. It's just like an outpost in Antarctica.
Hold on, let me get you some drinks.
Yeah.
Let me get the jars.
Right, the jars.
When we get to that movie, I actually like Roger Ebert have a few questions, but it's not Roger Ebert's question.
Right.
It's different ones.
Well, and they could have put Hedy Lamarr in there, which they didn't. Which is
Headley.
Yeah. You could sue her. She and Hughes, they built a lot of crazy shit together.
So Cliff and Peavy meet with a promoter who's so that character actor.
Yes. I have
Is
it
in
here.
everything.
He's in everything.
The guy from Newhart?
John Polito was Bigelow was the character. I don't. Did anyone remember Remo Williams?
Yes.
It was like Fred Ward.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. It was an old one. I wasn't sure if anybody.
I do.
How popular it was, but I thought it was fun. So he was in Remo Williams, Highlander, Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink, Hudsucker Proxy.
Which guy are we talking about?
John Polito.
Those are the ones I remember him from.
John
the most.
Polito. Yeah. The little bald. Yeah. Yes.
We're gonna see him.
Lots of Coen movies.
We're gonna talk about him again in The Crow and Blank Man.
He was also on. He also plays Frank Reynolds' brother on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, that makes sense.
He owned the bar Shady Nasties, Shit Dynasty. I love that episode. John Polito.
Couple more credits. Big Lebowski, of course.
Yeah. A fellow, brother Seamus.
Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Batman Beyond. The Man Who Wasn't There. The Spectre. And Batman Year One.
Oh, cool. The Man Who Wasn't There, and the sequel, The Man Who Was There.
Turns out he's been here all along.
He was here.
He was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
So yeah, they make a dealer.
They made a deeder.
They did
Dieter.
a little diddle deeder.
I don't know what it means, but I like it.
Thanks. They make a deal with Bigelow to do a stunt show as a clown, as they now don't have a racing plane.
The clown act.
Yeah, the clown act.
And because he's charging them for the gas that was exploded in the hijinks that we just watched. The car, the getaway car ran into the gas truck.
Which exploded, burnt the jetpack.
So
that crash was amazing, by the way.
That was
good. It was great.
I just want to say right off the bat, the effects in this movie are amazing.
They're pretty good, yeah.
There are a couple of
I'd say
moments where you can tell it's still 91.
A couple of the flying,
but,
you can see it's
Every
animated.
once in a while, but But on the whole, the flying looked really good.
I'd give it an A. I'd give it a solid 90%.
In 1991, I would have believed a man can fly.
Yeah, seriously. It looked great.
Well, and we forgot to mention, but just that time-tested movie trope of a very old man and a very young man inexplicably living together, hanging out together.
Yeah, did they live together? What was up with that? Like, it's obviously like,
well, they had a house together.
Yeah,
and their house got
like that was both their house,
yes,
right?
they both lived there together.
Marty.
Well, it's like Rocky and Paulie, right? Like he lived with him in the first season, didn't he? Not Paulie. What's it?
Yes. I mean, actually, the formula goes back to the Greeks.
Yeah, I mean,
but once we get back there, it gets
Gandalf and Frodo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
But yeah, funny. Just reminded me of Marty and the disgraced nuclear physicist who could be anywhere between 40 and 80 years old.
Yeah, that's just the magic of Christopher
Lloyd.
Yeah, he's looked like that since he was
John
18.
Mulaney bit. But yeah, totally. Taxi.
Yeah. So after he leaves, they discover the hidden device and figure out that it's a jetpack.
Yeah, really quickly. Yeah. I mean, they're sharp guys, but
Just touch the button.
Right. Oh, yeah. He turns it on and boom. All right. That's what it is.
And then he finds the backpack straps.
Yeah.
Right.
It's,
Yeah, it's that they're sharp guys. Yeah.
And
it takes no time.
Peeve starts changing things. He starts modifying it like immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh,
yeah,
that seems dangerous.
Right.
We should do this. Yeah. Yeah. He tinkers.
And back then, chewing gum was what, like 85% rubber?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a fix-all.
Yes. Yeah. Chewing gum can do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Chewing gum was an interesting little, I don't want to call it like a Chekhov's gun necessarily, but a little like thing that kept going towards something and inevitably became an actual Chekhov's gun. But the gum was something that
it does pay off.
showed immediately.
Chekhov's gum.
Oh, yeah. Minty fresh.
But yeah, taking it off the tail. You know, you know something's going to go wrong.
Yeah,
right?
that was great.
Yeah. No, this is yeah, wow. No, it's a really good script.
5 years of writing a script allows you to add a lot of little things that pay off.
Yes. So yeah, that night they
yeah, and he discovers it runs on alcohol, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like my dad.
And apparently that's how the housing of the jetpack stays so cool.
What was double walled?
It was
because it runs on malt liquor.
Yeah,
that's why it's so cool.
A hydro flask, basically. Hydro flask jetpack. Vacuum seal. Yeah, they explained some of it with some like pseudo.
Yeah, you get the pseudoscience in there.
Howard
Techno.
Stark kind of thing.
Yeah,
30s like
he is saying things. That's true.
It's vibranium. It's very vibrational.
The Fluga flap goes into the Nigalac. That night they steal a statue
of Charles Lindbergh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucky Lindy.
From Lucky Lindy's flight school.
Yes.
I love
Luckily, it wasn't Lucky Lindy's daycare
because they clearly look down on the flight school.
Lindbergh baby jokes will never get old.
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, I thought that was great that they're just like Lindbergh. We'll just use this.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because a bronze statue, that's roughly like you, right? Cliff? Yeah, about the same weight and height.
It looked like a small town. I'm surprised they had any bronze statues.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just like strap it to a bale of hay?
Oh, it was like outer,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was like outer Orange County, right?
Yeah.
Where they lived.
Yeah.
Where
they
there were still
literally-
orange groves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Before there were rich ladies that were just terrible.
This movie was set while
before they were
Superman and the Mole Men was being filmed. You could see if you look. There's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
Mole Men
Those
being
are-
chased by dogs.
Yeah.
Wow, those are almost concurrent. Yeah,
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah, not too far.
Clark could have been looking at a big fucking hole in Texas.
Yeah. Orange County before there were housewives.
Yep.
No, they were there.
Just oranges. Yeah, they were picking oranges.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, movie star Neville Sinclair is meeting with gangster Eddie Valentine, who he hired to steal the rocket pack. Valentine doesn't like the heat he's getting from the FBI.
He's all, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah. He agrees to find it for triple his previous rate. Valentine leaves and Sinclair calls his henchman Lothar, telling him he's got a job for him.
Okay, I'm sorry if I've been waiting. Does anybody remember the Mike Myers sketch?
Lothar
of the Hill People.
That's all I could think.
It's a great sketch. So great. And right off the bat, it's funny because he's talking, Mike Myers is talking to the screen. He's Lothar of the Hill People. And there's two other cavemen by a fire. And he walks over and he's like, Wark, Tyler. Those are the caveman names. But yeah, totally Lothar. There's a theme song and everything.
Yeah. Early 90s SNL sketch. So
what about Lothar?
Yeah. Well, we don't get to see him yet.
Oh.
Meanwhile, in a field, Cliff and Peavy are testing the rocket pack on the statue. It does not go well. Later, Cliff picks up his girlfriend, aspiring actress Jenny, for a date. She's tried out for a speaking role in a Neville Sinclair movie. Mm-hmm. When she asks Cliff about his test flight, he leaves out the crash part. They go to the movies, and a newsreel informs us of a Nazi blimp doing a goodwill tour of America. Goodwill Nazis.
Come on along, there's a song that we're singing.
Yeah. Funded by the Bushes and Disney.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Right. Well, how are we going to get these gold cougar heads to Switzerland?
Cliff makes a couple of anti-Nazi comments as they're sitting down while the newsreel is going. And the woman,
good for him.
But the woman next to him is just like, shh. So she's like, is she pro-Nazi?
She's like, well, I just want to hear their side.
Okay.
Yeah, so everyone knew they were fascists, but in 1938, they didn't know just how fascist they were.
And a lot of America was pro-fascism at that point.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we never got in the war to fight Germany.
Yeah,
we never had a problem with what they were doing.
Yeah, we were
not
we declared war on Japan.
Yes. Yep. And then Germany said, well, us too. And we're like, fine.
Well,
I guess we like the
Russia's
Brits
we're
also.
going to do that. We're going to take back Eastern Europe.
Cliff is a
whatever you guys want to do.
veteran, right? He's a war hero.
Yeah,
is it? Yeah.
It's implied.
World War I.
World War I.
Fighting ace.
Well, was it World War I?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. He seems.
Well, because we're in between the two.
That's right. It's 38.
And he talks about when the Red Baron shot him down, and that was
right.
Okay, I must have missed the Red Baron.
The biplanes. The
Yeah.
biplanes, the
Snoopy.
homosexual planes, all the different planes.
The Pan America.
Yeah, exactly. That plane is fluid. Oh.
After their date, Cliff and Jenny go to the Bulldog Cafe, a local hangout near the airfield. Jenny hears about the crash from an old World War I vet named Malcolm, and she gets angry that Cliff didn't tell her. And in fact, she's always the last to know the important stuff. She leaves.
I wanted to take this moment to talk about a few of the actresses that we see here.
Cafe. Yeah.
We saw Lothar show up at the hospital with Wilmer. That was the driver of the car. He's trying to get some info out of him. So Lothar, the actor is Tiny Ron. He's been in DS9, Voyager, Alien Nation, and Ace Ventura, among other things. But he's this giant man.
Yeah.
And his stage name is Tiny Ron. It's great.
I can only imagine that's applied ironically.
Wilmer is played by Max Grodenchik, and he was best known, I suppose, as Rom on Star Trek DS9.
Oh, okay.
The Quark's Ferengi nephew.
Yeah, yeah.
In the diner, Skeets, he was one of the mechanics. That was William Sanderson, Larry from Newhart.
Yep, with his two brothers.
Daryl and Daryl.
Yep.
He also known for E.B. Farnham on Deadwood. And Sheriff Bud Dearborn on True Blood. We saw him. He was in Blade Runner, and he also did like 4 episodes of the animated series with Batman.
Cool.
Malcolm Eddie Jones. I think Malcolm was the character name. Eddie Jones is the actor. He was another guy sitting at the bar. He would go on to play Jonathan Kent in Lois and Clark, 87 episodes.
Jesus.
And we already talked about Millie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Character actress Margo Martindale.
Yeah, I recognized Jonathan Kent immediately. I was like, oh, hey, it's what's his face's dad? What's that actor? Dean Cain?
Yeah.
Dean Cain's dad?
Is that Dean Cain? Yeah.
He also looks like he should play the town drunk in like
everything. Yeah. Otis.
So yeah, and as you mentioned, I did miss the part where Lothar visits the getaway driver in the hospital and kills him.
Yes.
After getting the information he wants. Cliff, after the diner incident, heads home where Peavy is working on a helmet for the rocket pack. The next morning, Cliff wakes up and sees the completed helmet, and he's unimpressed.
Which is lame because I love the helmet.
It looks great.
Awesome.
I think
looks
it's
so cool.
so stylized and
But
so cool looking.
He says it looks like a hood ornament. That's his complaint, I guess.
Fair. It's got a long thing on the back.
But then he explains that's precisely what he was going for.
Yeah, it's a rudder.
Rudder. Yeah. Exactly.
You should have explained it to him then.
Before he started flying in it.
Yeah, and turning his head like mad.
Hey, let me show you how this helmet works.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Jenny's on the job filming. She didn't get the speaking part, but has a bit role in Sinclair's latest swashbuckling film. Cliff arrives, knocks down the set, and gets Jenny fired.
I like how Neville Sinclair, Dalton, looks like Inigo Montoya.
Yeah.
From The Princess Bride.
Well, and the set and the scene is literally from Errol Flynn's Robin Hood.
Okay.
And that's what Flynn looks like. Yeah. It's a famous one where he's like up on that winding castle stair, grabs the rope from the torch thing and swings down. Yeah. That's fun. So they were recreating that Errol Flynn movie. But he does look just like Inigo.
Sinclair stabbed one of his fellow actors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually stabbed.
Actually stabbed him.
Yes.
But he felt really bad.
On the second take.
Yeah.
Did he?
No, he called for a doctor and like.
Okay. I thought that was like some fakery.
I think
it turns out to be in the end, but
some fakery.
In the beginning, they paint him out as a really nice guy.
True.
Especially for an actor, a Hollywood,
He's pretending he's a nice guy actor.
Yeah.
Yes, now, we know that later.
Yeah. However, Sinclair overhears Cliff attempting to tell Jenny about the rocket pack. So Sinclair invites Jenny to dinner in order to get information.
Girl talk.
Yeah.
In between scenes.
You wanted me to tell you stuff? I'm telling you about this? Why do I care?
Yeah. That's supposed to be the important stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought futuristic technology that could change the world.
I thought it was interesting that Dalton was like this continuously being revealed as worse.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, he's worse.
Yeah, slower and slower.
He's way worse.
Yeah, he starts off as like, we know he's a bad guy because he's dealing with the mob, and by the end, he literally has a German accent.
I mean, we get to a point where he like chloroforms her, and then there are Nazis. You're like, oh shit, man, how does he keep getting worse?
But you're right, because in this, he seems nice to the guy that got hurt, all that jazz. But then, when they're out to dinner,
he's Snoopy. At first, you're like, why is he listening?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he is listening.
That whole thing. Then he's like, ooh, I'm going to go talk to her.
But then he becomes kind of an asshole at the dinner later.
I'm sorry I got you fired?
Yeah.
That's such like a terrible thing to do.
Okay, so I love Sinclair and Jenny's whole thing, because watching it through the second time, I realized how much of it is them being actors at each other. He's acting at her, she's acting at him.
Right.
They're just acting towards each other to like get one over on each other.
Yeah.
And towards the end, he has that line. It's like, I think he said, "I wasn't lying. It was acting."
It was acting.
Exactly.
Acting.
But what's hilarious is he's
brilliant. Thank you.
He straight up kills a dude a few minutes before that for calling him an actor.
Yeah.
You actor.
Yeah. One of the Nazi
the later's
pilot.
like, I am you can't call me an actor.
I guess he's not a pilot. He's a ballooner.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So, I'm John Bonham. This is Jimmy Page. This is Robert Plant. We'll be flying this.
He's a ballooneer.
Yeah, a ballooneer. I've never even been on a public balloon.
So afterwards at the air show, Cliff is late for his stunt routine, and the promoter is going to fire him. Overhearing this, Malcolm goes up in the plane in his place. But it's been so long since he's flown, and he might have a drinking problem. He ends up being in real danger. They don't make it clear, but he's got the shakes. Like he it might be a PTSD thing. It might be drinking, maybe a little of all the above.
Dressed like a clown also?
About it.
Yeah, the clown. He's doing the clown routine.
In the plane, though.
Yeah. So why does he have to be dressed as a clown?
I think he's supposed to fly in and land and then do some clown routine on the ground.
Yeah, I would bet.
That was just my guess.
That's okay.
This whole sequence, setting up
weird.
this sequence was really weird. I don't know why he had to be his friend in the plane.
Well, he just had to he had to save somebody.
It could have been
that
anybody.
Was just it.
You know, you could have been like, oh shit,
could have been any.
Their tail rudder went out and they're not able to turn or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
that was a weird little contrivance.
He's got a higher stake in saving this guy than any of those other guys.
Yeah, the other guys, it's like, oh, that's too bad. This guy's like, oh, my friend.
It's like, shit, that's my plane.
Yeah, that too, actually.
Yeah.
That's air racing.
There's that.
Yeah.
That's air racing. You want to make it to nationals?
You got to break a few eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta crash a few CDs.
It's just a guy that looks like a wrestling coach, just walking back and forth on the airstrip. Just like, we're gonna make it to nationals.
Be like, come on.
With a bullhorn, just yelling at the plane.
Exactly. Nationals.
Cliff uses a rocket pack and Peavy's new helmet to rescue Malcolm. However, Valentine's gang are in the audience after ransacking the airfield looking for the rocket pack, and they see him. He crashes in a pond. Well, he saves Malcolm, then crashes in a pond, and he and Peavy escape in Peavy's truck just before the gang can get them.
And the way they escape with the truck is awesome. It's so comic booky. It's and you mentioned it, right?
That Flash did it, and or Zack Snyder had it.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection when I was watching it, but that's
I did
so
until
funny.
just now. Yeah.
There was a funny bit when he was flying next to the airplane, and he sees the passengers are gawking at him.
Yeah,
and he salutes them. And that's what shuts off the jetpack because he's got that button in his.
That's right.
And
he's got the trigger. He like bangs it up against his forehead.
Oh, I see.
And that shuts it off.
It just tumbles
and it just drops. Yeah.
There was a lot of really cool tumbling in the air because that was my question. Is like, how the hell do you make like a hard, not just a banking turn, but how do you stop thrust, turn your body, and then thrust the other way.
Right.
It's a really interesting conversation. But they showed it a couple of times where he just kind of tumbling and like, gas it now, like you would in a spaceship. Kind of like you're pointed in the right direction. Which was cool.
They definitely demonstrated the awkwardness of this device.
Yeah. But showing that a pilot figures out the little things about that and uses it to his advantage throughout.
Learns to move with the machine.
Yeah, exactly. It was really, really cool visually how they showed that in this first flight.
It was, and just the flying in general looked so good for 1991.
Yeah, it was.
There was some cool perspective too with like the light at the distance and that kind of thing we see later on in the movie. But this flight was really fun. The way he crashes into the mud too.
A lot of the plane stuff was just flight stunts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just the
flying.
Rocketeer that was animated. Yeah. Everything else was organic.
The CB with the gas or the oil flying all over the wind. And he
and he punches the glass.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those weren't effects.
Yeah.
Well, they were special effects because it wasn't a real plane. I mean,
that was
kind of
special.
stuff.
But there was a lot of like actual practical flying. It was really cool.
It was.
Those planes killed a lot of people, by the way.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And,
It looked dangerous being like strapped in with that cockpit that gets bolted down.
Yeah, seriously. You can't get out of it if you freaking land somewhere. You need somebody to come get you out of it.
Character-wise, I liked when Peavy finds him in the pond, in the mud, and he takes the helmet off, and he looks really, like, just freaked out a little bit, but then the line we heard from the trailer, just like, I like it.
You trying to kill yourself?
I like it. He really is an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah,
truly.
He's hooked.
Yeah. So the press interviews the promoter, who names the mysterious flyer the Rocketeer.
It takes a while. They workshop it.
Yeah, they do workshop it.
Yes.
Bigelow tells him to call him Rocket Boy. And the press, they're just like, that's lousy. What about Rocket Man? That's worse.
Yeah.
And he sees a sign for Pioneer Petroleum outside and just comes up with Rocketeer.
Yeah.
That was neat. I thought that was a neat way to get there. Yeah.
Rocketeer makes the front page of all the papers. Sinclair is unhappy about this, and the FBI realize they didn't find the remains of the rocket pack, but a vacuum cleaner.
Howard Hughes, his line was, thanks to the diligence of the FBI, this particular vacuum cleaner will not fall into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
That night, they go to visit the promoter, but they find him already dead. Bigelow is gone.
Mm-hmm. He's been snapped in half or something.
Yeah, that's
folded up.
The same, the Lothar. He
Lothar folded his ass up.
He's very neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hill people.
My mother taught me the importance of laundry.
They do, however, find Peavy's address, where at that time Lothar has arrived to search for the rocket pack. He tries to rough up Peavy. Then the FBI arrives, and there's a shootout between them and Lothar. Cliff and Peavy escape while Lothar steals the rocket pack's detailed schematics drawn up by Peavy.
They escape as the FBI summarily fires into the house for like 30 seconds.
Right?
Yeah,
They're going
with Tommy
They're
guns.
treating it like a UPS truck.
No, but then what's hilarious is Lothar just has two.
I've been waiting for like 2 days to say that.
Oh my God. That's fucked up. That guy was at work.
He wasn't even supposed to be there that day.
No, he wasn't.
He was filling in.
I know.
Fuck
Life. Fuck. But Lothar's standing in the middle of the living room with two pistols like he's in Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
You know, like, they didn't have automatic.
That's like the only time he uses a gun, too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like none of those bullets hit him. He's just...
Yeah. Well, and we figure out later
1938.
he's not bulletproof.
That's right.
Somebody says to him.
Turns out.
Yeah. Well, like it could have fooled me.
Yeah, seriously.
You never get to nationals with that attitude. Lothar?
Shooting nationals.
Well, and I don't think we've mentioned it yet. Lothar has a prosthetic jaw.
Yeah, so, and a nose. I'm pretty sure
Dude,
the nose.
you weren't supposed to say anything.
The nose, I'm pretty sure, is also a
Now he
prosthetic.
knows we're looking.
There
Possibly the forehead.
There are a few times where he is speaking and you can see his face.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not look like he is making word sounds.
No.
He just
his
looks like
mouth does not move.
big floppy mouth hole kind of thing. Like just like
He looks like
it looks like what he's saying.
he looks like a reject from the Dick Tracy movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's that same
just like another prune face or
weird long
Al Pacino
head thing. Yeah,
all the villains.
I love the part where he hugged Robert De Niro.
over and over and over. Till that one day.
So yeah, no, he
the Irishman. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's the Irishman.
Yeah.
Lots of
they hug a
hugging.
lot. Jimmy Hoffa liked to hug, we found out.
He was a hugger. So yeah, it was a bad prosthetic.
Yeah.
That was the worst part of the movie. in a
Somebody
lot of ways.
should have stopped.
But it was
them.
still somehow cool. You know what I mean?
It was
like
cool.
at least one of the bad guys looked kind of.
You know, he really should
was
not
villainy.
have spoken. He should have just gone,
I agree. Yeah.
or something like some
like the big guy on Superman 2.
Yeah. What's that guy's
What
name?
was his name?
It was
Lenny.
What? It was Zod, Ursa, and
Non.
Non.
That's right.
Indian garlic bread.
that's right.
Delicious.
Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show. Meanwhile, Jenny goes on a date with Sinclair to the South Seas Club. She meets some famous people, and Sinclair is pulled away to speak with Valentine.
W.C. Fields checks out her boobs.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
And he is a real creep.
Doubly
as
charged.
as he actually was, yes.
He was. Was he played by anyone notable? Obviously, there was makeup.
He was played by Bob Lehman. He's notable for playing W.C. Fields in this and on Webster.
He played W.C. Fields on Webster?
Yes.
Wow, man. He does one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. W.C. Fields famously hated working with children.
Yes.
Really?
So that's good. Yeah. He said, dogs and kids, don't fucking do it, basically. Wow. I'm paraphrasing. No, he hated children, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So,
Yeah.
W.C. Fields on Webster.
I don't, yeah. George Papadopoulos.
Was it like, I don't know. Okay. I don't, all right. Let's move on.
I don't know. I was a different strokes guy. It's either Red Vines or Twizzlers. You got to make a decision.
It's true.
I don't know what happened on Webster. None of my business.
W.C. Fields made an appearance.
No,
clearly.
this guy pretending to be W.C. was dead in his grave for a long time.
Many years.
He would have had a lot of questions about Webster.
Who the hell licensed my likeness on that television program?
Why is this sandwich boy acting? W.C. Fields.
Why is the old fat guy playing second fiddle? All right, so Sinclair's pulled away to speak with Valentine, who has sent his men to the Bulldog Cafe. Valentine and Sinclair trade some barbs.
I like Cliff's line that a fan sent over a bowl of soup.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
I want to do that so bad.
A bowl of soup. And he doesn't question it. He's just
He
like,
doesn't. Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's the life of the third greatest actor in Hollywood. People send me soup all the time.
I would just love to be in a restaurant or like a Chili's or something.
One of your fans sent you this
Just
soup.
send a bowl of soup to a lady and then just sort of wink at her. Chowder.
Clam chowder.
What's your heartiest soup? I'd like to
Dead
send it
ocean
to the lady over there in the corner.
That is hilarious.
Guys, don't do
Sending
this.
somebody
Don't
soup.
send people soup.
No,
It'll
do
freak
it.
them out.
Do it. Do it as much as you can. And the gangsters in the cafe, one guy's like, pies. Ooh, I bet they're homemade.
Yeah.
It's 1938.
They're all homemade.
Made in China.
She did not go buy those pies.
Yeah. There's preservatives don't exist yet. We're still canning everything.
Yeah, you can't go to the store and buy a pie.
Yeah.
Well, why would you?
Later at the airfield diner where Cliff and Peavy are hiding out, Valentine's men arrive. They threaten the patrons for the identity of Cliff, but nobody's talking. They find Jenny's number near the phone and call.
And Cliff is there.
Yeah, Cliff's there.
He's just sitting there.
But they're not turning him in. No, nobody's like giving the old like
He moved to Iowa, right?
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, Cliff. Huh. Iowa, right?
Yeah. They're good friends. They're willing. These people that hang out at this cafe are willing to die for Cliff.
But that's how you're right. They've done that in other movies.
But he's a war
Haven't they
hero.
done that
Oh,
in
yeah.
a diner?
You know?
I feel like there was a scene
Superman?
in a diner. Was it
Superman 2 or 3?
No, but the scene where like everybody protects the person.
Yeah,
that,
I've definitely seen this scene before.
It happens
This is
to me
the
in
thing.
real
It's like
life.
this
but
is a
that
really
sign-
Deadpool. I mean, that's one I can think of where the bartender's like, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't know who you're talking about."
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely, Deadpool, it does happen, but like, I've seen this scene a number of times. I think every scene in this movie I've seen a number of times.
This
in a
movie
number
is
of
just a,
different-
Wait, is
a
it
series of
Gremlins?
tropes.
Oh shit!
I don't know. Let's just wait a while until Josh
I'm
figures it
sorry.
out.
Yeah, no, it's actually Who Framed Roger Rabbit. All the bars, all the drunks in the bar making fun of Eddie, and the
That's
one guy who
right.
eats the eggs.
Yes.
They think he's going
right.
to sell them out,
It was worth it.
and he
Just
doesn't.
wait.
But Roger gets so excited that he doesn't sell them out.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming along.
So they find Jenny's number near the phone and call, discovering from her roommate that she's in a date at the South Seas Club with Sinclair. The gangsters are confused.
Why is his girlfriend's phone number written on the wall? For a good time, call my girlfriend.
I think it's okay.
It's like her Bill Murray hotline.
Does he not remember his
acting
girlfriend's
jobs.
phone number?
Okay, so it's 1938. They're in a small town. They don't have phones in their homes. So that's where he always makes his phone calls from.
That makes sense.
So he wrote it there so he wouldn't have to remember it or carry it around with him.
And there were a lot of numbers
I
written
guess
there,
this
right?
is before people started
Yeah.
scrawling their names in like toilet stalls. I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
Then
That
again, people have been
connotation.
doing that since ancient Rome. And,
Yeah.
for a good time, call Socrates.
Yeah, but I guess it's not that creepy because, you get some prank calls and there's only 4 people
Yeah,
in town
sure.
that has a phone. Like, I'm just going to go to each of those guys.
And the mob.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
So, they rush away to the club, leaving a couple of thugs behind to watch the captives. Then the diner patrons overpower the gangsters. When a bullet ricochet punctures the rocket pack's fuel tank, which PV temporarily patches with Cliff's chewing gum. Cliff uses the rocket pack to beat the gangsters to the South Seas Club. At the club, Sinclair is romancing Jenny. They dance, they talk, they have a hell of a time.
Oh, I have a cameo question. Did anybody notice who the singer was? She comes out of the clamshell. And
I saw her, but I didn't realize who she was.
Her name is Melora Hardin, and we know her best as Jan from The Office, Michael Scott's girlfriend.
What?
Really?
Who sings a lot in The Office.
That was Jan?
Yeah, and I did look it up because I was like, that looks just like her.
Wow.
Yep.
I had no idea.
That's interesting.
She does sing a lot. What is his name? Hunter?
Oh, Astrid. Oh, Hunter is her, yes. Yeah. His her former assistant who wrote that album. Yeah. You took me by the hand.
Wow. I had to look it up. That's crazy. Yeah.
One of my favorite Office lines ever was when she was like, when she got her sperm from a sperm bank.
Yeah.
She's like, it's a very exclusive place. And Kevin's like, by the Chili's.
And then she gets that terrified look because it is the place she's talking about.
Yes.
You mentioned cameos. There was a Clark Gable, quote unquote cameo.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Clark walked by. Who was playing him, Dewey?
Let me see.
It was Clark Gable.
A guy named Gene Daly.
Oh,
yeah.
So
good old Gene.
Could have been Dalton.
Yeah.
There was, since we're talking about cameos, there was a Clint Howard in here.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't see him.
Oh, he came up to a
him.
table at some point. I forget exactly. He walked up to somebody. I saw him and I was like, oh, hey, there he is.
Yeah, I did too. But
I kept looking for him when I watched it, but I didn't see him, so I was gonna try and like go back and
was Ron in some way
find
connected
him.
to this?
I don't know.
I don't think so. He's built. Clint Howard is just
been
billed
in
as
some of his
Mark.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cliff arrives, stashes the rocket pack, and disguises himself as a waiter. He slips a note to Jenny in her soup, and she meets up with him. He tells her she's in danger and that she needs to get away.
That was really clever. The note in the soup
Yeah.
was just like, and she is questioning it because she obviously sees him. It's like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
fucked this
right.
up for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a cool scene that turned kind of slow in his direction, and
But yeah, to drop the note in the bowl and then cover it up with the soup after he's given her enough time to read it.
Yeah.
because he's pouring soup in the other bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
Distracting.
Fan soup. Sent over soup.
There were a lot of little things like that that were fun. You know,
Yeah,
that was
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah. That's something that I want to do.
I want to do it.
Send somebody soup with a note in it.
Just wink at him.
And I do it in a bar.
Meet me by the big fish.
With, like, to pick up like a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
You sent me soup.
It's like, oh, I didn't even know this place had soup.
It doesn't. I brought my own and then had the bartender bring it to you.
Just a cold can of soup. Bowl.
All right, now you're getting ridiculous.
It won't be cold. I got a cigarette lighter. We can warm this soup up.
Like a couple of hobos
Give me a few
in an
hours.
alley.
I've got a crock pot.
Look, now you're being crazy. I'm just talking about sending soup over to a beautiful lady.
So, she agrees to leave and exits the club. Inside, Sinclair discovers Cliff and Valentine's men Lothar chase him. He retrieves the rocket pack. Mayhem breaks out in the club as they try to catch him, and he tries to get away. Jenny, still outside, sees the commotion, runs back in. She saves Cliff, who escapes through the stained glass ceiling, and then Jenny is captured and chloroformed by Sinclair.
Oh, yeah, he shot up and burst through the ceiling. Is that right?
The stained glass ceiling,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Kind of a Ghostbuster-y
Or a Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
Where does he get that wonderful toy?
Yeah.
Like,
Just that one.
From Howard Hughes.
Yeah, Howard Hughes is where, the Bruce Wayne of our real world.
Jenny wakes up in Sinclair's home. Sinclair comes in with the drink and tells her he's a victim too.
He's like,
this is some gaslighting bullshit.
Yeah,
He's
seriously.
like,
don't worry, it's just the chloroform. It's like, yeah, it is just that.
that's you. Yeah.
Let's start there.
But
Is that something I should be used to?
she's pretty sharp because she wakes up and assesses the situation, and then when she hears him coming, she goes and pretends to be asleep.
Yeah.
Still.
And even does the,
Yeah, she's acting.
I know.
Yeah.
I was
She's
having
a
a
good
dream.
actress.
Her superpower is acting in this movie.
Totally.
And she uses it to outact the actor.
Yeah, and she keeps calling him when he uses lines from his movies.
Yeah. She calls him out.
She's
on
well read too, which is kind of cool. Or she's seen his films, I guess. But to know every line in every movie.
And it shows, it helps illustrate him being a spy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just regurgitating the things that, he says it's cover. Yeah.
She also has the line, do you have to drug all your women to seduce them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For a film that does not pass the Bechdel test,
Right.
she's pretty cool.
Yeah. She's as well written as one could possibly hope Disney to put together.
Yeah, she's not a damsel in distress, really.
No,
she's just working her own angle while he's working his angle.
She holds her own. She's always trying to do something. She's never just standing there and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smarter than Cliff.
Yeah.
But
much smarter than Cliff.
The one scene where it was just females, it was her and her roommate, but they're talking about Cliff showing up.
Yes. So it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't
count.
Doesn't count. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but having to pretend you're into Jennifer Connelly, like, good job, Neville.
Yeah, exactly. He suggests she slip into something a little more comfortable, and she knocks him out cold with a vase.
He says the word, "I felt something inside me."
It's like, I bet you did.
Yeah, what a strange way to say. You have feelings.
Back to how she's written. She says, "Do you want me to try this on?"
Yeah.
She is playing.
Oh yeah,
him, which is great.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Instead of him being like, "I have these. Would you want to put on something more comfortable?" And her saying, "Oh, I've been ignoring this. Do you want me to try this on?" Like once she kind of gets him where she wants him, it was cool. It was. I mean, it could have been.
Oh yeah.
She could have kicked his ass, but
and then
1938, I guess.
Then she invites him to help her with the dress, so he'll get in close enough for the swinging blow.
Yeah.
And after he's out cold, I liked her line, "I finally played a scene with Neville Sinclair."
Yeah.
And she zips herself back up almost defiantly. You know, like, I didn't even need your help for that. Asshole.
Right.
Clearly, it was a side zipper.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You asshole.
My grandmother was lying all this. I can't. Sorry, but there's a scene where the Valentine gang. I thought it was around here, maybe at the club. But like one of the guys is walking up with a box of popcorn, and he's all, and Cervino just smacks it out of his hand. That was
earlier at the race. Yeah.
God, I love when people smack food out of people's hands. It's so hilarious.
Somebody get this man some soup.
Yeah. No.
So she
to a beautiful lady. That's what you said in the suit.
She discovers his secret Nazi room, and then she's recaptured by him and Lothar.
Well, she tries to radio for help.
Yeah.
Help. And then you hear like, Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yeah, you hear the German on the other end.
Yeah.
And he's got the code book and everything.
What about the Germans on the radio? What, like Kraftwerk or
Nena?
Yeah, exactly. They were Germans.
Rammstein. That's all the German musicians I know. Cliff arrives back at the Bulldog Cafe and stashes the rocket pack. He gets a phone call from Valentine telling him that they have Jenny and to bring the rocket pack to the Griffith Observatory in exchange for her life. I meant to mention one thing I really like. This movie takes place over like 2 days.
Yeah.
It is not drawn out.
Because someone would have noticed that Zeppelin.
Right.
Before he can do anything, though, he's detained by the FBI. They take him to Howard Hughes' office, where Hughes and Peavy are exchanging notes on mechanic stuff. Hughes
and basic aviation.
Yes. Hughes explains that his rocket pack is a prototype, similar to ones that Nazi scientists have up to now been unsuccessful in developing. He shows them a propaganda film that reveals the scope of the Nazis' plans, depicting an army of flying soldiers invading the United States.
But so that was like classic Disney animation style.
Yeah, very much
that was
so.
like, you were reminded, oh, this is a Disney film. That's
World
not
of
hokey
Tomorrow.
animation.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Very cool animation. Here's my question. Who was this film made for?
Me. I was 4. I love this movie.
No. Who was the Nazi propaganda film made for?
Oh, right.
Because because anybody who they want to inform about the secret Nazi jetpack
they would have known.
Doesn't need to have a wordless cartoon that illustrates what the jetpacks can do.
It's not like Ronald Reagan was around, you know.
It's like a film Troy McClure would show.
Were they going to show this to Hitler and Hitler would be like, "Oh,
I like jetpacks."
That's kind of what I thought. It was somebody marketing their idea of like, hey, our little, because the Nazis were kind of they had smaller groups that were trying to compete for access to the Führer kind of thing. And I think that was what it was an internal Nazi marketing video to the Führer to sell him on the idea.
Their marketing genius was Goebbels.
Yeah,
He was like, okay,
He
Hitler.
was basically a mad.
Yeah. Well, but he was
cartoons.
marketing to the world. He was marketing Nazis as like fascism is the future kind of thing. But but there were people that were trying, like the fact that the V2 got built it was not like Hitler wasn't like, we need big fucking rockets. Somebody was like, hey Hitler, rockets are a good idea. Big long cannons, those are a good idea. Jetpacks, those are a good idea.
Right.
We have a cartoon with no words.
like fucking Viking bones, those are a good idea.
But you're right. It's like, was it to show potential investors?
Yeah, exactly.
Not something you showed on German television if that was happening during
It's
World
like,
War II.
It wasn't like an episode of Webster or anything like that.
On German PBS, Nazi PBS.
That's confusing.
I guess it's all Nazi PBS.
I think we overcorrected.
Nazi Sesame Street. Tell me how to get.
Yeah, it's like,
what are the letters?
And
on
what's the
paper?
number of the day? 9. Did I say number?
We apologize to our non-Nazi German listeners.
No, we don't. You guys can suck it up.
They're German. You got a couple of
I'm sorry.
Couple more 100 years.
One world war we can overlook.
Two. Yeah. No.
You guys.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Don't
get fooled again.
So yeah, they Hughes. Let's see. Hughes shows him the film, and then the FBI agents mention that they're tracking a Nazi spy in Hollywood, whom Cliff realizes must be Sinclair. They don't believe him though. When Hughes demands the return of the rocket pack, Cliff explains that he needs it to rescue Jenny. He escapes using a scale model prototype of the Spruce Goose as a glider.
Yeah, and that's cute. He's like, it does fly.
It does fly.
Yeah. No, he says the son of a bitch does fly.
That's right. Which was interesting for a Disney movie. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, hey, they were playing around with their PG.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Cliff flies to the rendezvous, where Sinclair demands that Cliff gave him the rocket back. Cliff reveals to the mobsters that the actor is a Nazi. Valentine's gang turned their weapons on Sinclair and Lothar. I love that.
Yeah.
I may not make an honest living, but I'm an American.
Well, yeah. Is there a more American sentence ever?
Seriously.
Yeah,
If
for
Americans,
sure.
well, I mean, at this point in history, gangsters didn't like Nazis.
Yeah.
It was direct competition. I mean, literally.
No, there was a real hard line that most people had on Nazis until only recently. So I was saying, seeing the icons in this movie they made me a little uncomfortable compared to like growing up watching Indiana Jones or even this or something,
In 2019, it feels different.
Yeah, it feels way more uncomfortable.
And y'all, that sucks.
And yeah, exactly.
Don't
this
be
is
a
not
Nazi.
exciting.
How did fascism become the new normal? If
I don't
y'all
know.
haven't watched the new Rick and Morty, it's
Yeah, like I saw the swastika and I was like, oh, that's not just a historic symbol with all this weight behind it. Like that's in the news right now.
Yeah.
That's in our news.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
It's insane.
Thanks, internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Valentine's gang turned their weapons on Sinclair and Lothar, but Sinclair summons an army of heavily armed Nazi troops.
Yeah, so were the Nazi stormtroopers just hanging around the observatory waiting for this?
Well, I
Did
assume
they pull up in a bus?
I assume they came.
There was
on
a lot of them.
So the blimp was hiding.
Yes, behind the Griffith Observatory.
And I assume they came down from the blimp,
Okay.
or they were just
They were just there.
They were just inside watching laser flight.
Yeah. Oh God.
They totally were. They're like, this wall, I like it.
Laser Wagner.
Let's hear more about the wall.
What is this whole thing about? Like, you'll find out.
You'll find out. It's kind of about you guys.
You're the bad guys in this one.
Oh, we the baddies.
Yeah. And they even had the one that looked like, what was his name? Ernst Todt from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The
glasses.
Gestapo guy.
Oh yeah, the little round glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the SS. I forget. There are so many Nazi
Yeah, there
things
was
to
some.
be.
So the
things to be. Yeah, they're really.
They had so many little groups and little designations.
Those kind of
you know, like a
douchebags like that love
SS
clubs and ranks.
Yeah,
they do.
Former bankers and like accountants. Oof. Fascism's real, guys.
Yeah,
fuck that shit.
Right outside.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not just something to talk about on 4chan.
Watch The Rocketeer. Learn a thing from some gangsters.
From Paul Sorvino.
Paul Sorvino.
Yeah.
Paulie.
Did you love Paulie in Goodfellas? Well, he has opinions in this too.
The Nazi airship appears overhead to evacuate Sinclair. Then the FBI agents arrive, having secretly surrounded the area. They and the mobsters join forces to battle the Nazis. I would watch gangsters and FBI versus Nazis any day.
Right.
Seriously.
G-men.
There were some really funny moments of the G-men and the gangsters being like, hey, what are you? Oh.
Joking about
you're shooting
Hoover.
Nazis too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
This is fun. We should do this more often. I'll see you in 4 years.
See you in Cuba.
Or see you in Germany.
Sinclair and Lothar
France,
escape.
really.
Yeah.
Sinclair
and Lothar escape, dragging Jenny with them aboard the airship. Cliff flies up to and boards the airship. He battles Lothar, who's tethered himself on top of the blimp.
Little Lothar looks like somebody brought a knife to a Zeppelin fight. He's standing up there.
He like super deliberately puts that belt on. I was like, oh, that's not going to end well, man. Do you think that's a good idea right now? But
yeah, exactly.
Sitting on a ball of hydrogen.
Well, Lothar is a roofer
Also,
when he's not.
The Rocket Man is flying a rocket to the hydrogen balloon.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
That's the climax, right?
Yeah. But I mean,
all that shooting flame. Well, it doesn't burn his pants. It's
it
cool
doesn't burn
flame.
his pants.
It's cool flames.
I guess I can accept that it won't burn the hydrogen in the balloon.
As long as the balloon is not punctured,
it's true.
There shouldn't be a problem. You can probably smoke cigarettes in the compartment.
It was 1938. They were
definitely
like a
cigarettes.
cigarette vending machine in there or something.
But the feds did warn each other earlier about shooting at the.
That's true. Not to let it leak. Yeah,
Zeppelin. Yeah,
but it does blow up, right?
Yes,
because
eventually,
the fire eventually burns the balloon.
There was a flare gun.
Yeah,
a flare gun.
There was an incident.
You wouldn't.
There may have been some Nazis involved.
You definitely wouldn't have a flare gun. Hydrogen Zeppelin.
No,
right? Because you're literally flying in a flare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a problem with the blimp. It's on fire.
Where did the blimp crash?
We need to shoot a flare.
Let's fly a plane over there. It is.
Right.
The big fiery mess over here.
That thing is a flare.
You're not in a boat where you need people in the air to see you.
Right.
Like in an airplane, it makes sense.
Sticking your arm out.
You're
already on fire. You don't need the flare. The flare's distracting.
Even if it doesn't burst into flames, it's a giant silver balloon.
It is.
Right? Yeah. You'll see it.
Right above LA.
Yeah.
Not the outskirts
of. With like 2-story tall swastikas on it.
Yeah. Because it was on a PR mission.
It was goodwill.
It was like the Duff blimp.
Imagine waking up to that shit. You walk outside and you're like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm talking about.
Nazi dirigible Zeppelin thing? I'm going to shoot that shit down myself. I got a rifle.
Yeah.
It's the 30s. No one will know I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the great thing about the 30s. You can do anything you want, and if you go 2 towns over, they'll never find you.
Yeah.
You could even be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Go 2 towns over.
Don't be a Nazi.
No, don't be a Nazi. All right, so let's see. He battles Lothar, who's tethered himself to the top of the blimp. He knocks him off the top, causing him to crash through the window of the bridge.
Lothar has a wrench.
Yes.
He didn't even bring a knife. He brought a wrench.
That sounds like the title of a children's.
The reason why Lothar went up on top of the Zeppelin was not to fight our hero.
No.
Our hero disconnected the rudder.
That's right.
Oh,
He flies up, disconnects the rudder cable, and the pilot is like clunka, clunka, clunka.
Oh, right.
Clunka,
Yeah.
clunka.
And he's the best.
And he sends Lothar up to fix it.
And Neville sends him up. He goes, "You fix that. You know what to do." And he's like,
Right.
"Yeah, I have a degree in engineering. I can figure this out."
Wow, that's
Yeah, so that's why he has the wrench in his hand.
Gotcha.
Wow,
Yeah.
the script really is tight.
Yeah. There were some things that set that up. So I thought that was kind of
But when
neat.
he thinks he's dead, Timothy Dalton's like, Lothar.
He's like,
He has the saddest voice.
Not Lothar.
Yes. God.
Well, I mean, he is kind of like a dog. You know, he's just like his lapdog enforcer guy.
Right. What else is that guy going to do?
Yeah. Well, so when Lothar swings through the window, he knocks the pilot out of the ship.
He pulls out the other window. That was great.
Sinclair kills the other Nazi guy because he
calls him an actor.
Because he calls him an actor. And then Cliff enters the bridge. Sinclair demands the rocket pack, and Cliff gives it to him in order to save Jenny. But as he does, he covertly removes the gum that was plugging the fuel leak.
Did we mention the fuel leak earlier?
Yes.
There was a fuel leak. He got hit by a bullet.
We mentioned it.
And it didn't explode.
Oh, yeah, he did mention it. Yeah,
you know.
That's right. Ricocheted.
Yeah. Sinclair gives
it's very technical.
The sole remaining crew member his gun as he takes the rocket pack, and Jenny shoves the man out the window. So she's a murderer.
Yep. Well, I mean, is she though? He's a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you fly a dirigible. You still got a swastika on your suit.
I know. We hate Nazis. They shouldn't live, but that's all very sticky territory.
Yeah, that's true.
We start deciding what life is worth. That's kind of a Nazi thing to do.
Actually, yes, it is. You know, I consider Nazis an inferior race.
Yeah, exactly. I would be better off if we just wiped them off.
He was just a friendly Zeppelin pilot.
Right,
a friendly
exactly.
Nazi Zeppelin pilot.
Not even the Germans heard about the bad stuff yet.
It was 38.
They were all just at work.
Nobody knew.
Right.
She killed a pilot. Yeah,
she
kind
killed
of
a pilot. Yeah,
she did.
I will
just
tell you
kill a
this though.
pilot.
In 1945, she probably got great sleep.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She was like, finally,
Yeah, right.
that paid off.
So Sinclair and Cliff fist fight, and Sinclair gets the upper hand. Jenny
Their lines here are kind of cool. Cliff punches Sinclair and says, "Where's your stuntman now, Sinclair?" And Sinclair punches him back. He says, "I do my own stunts."
Yeah, that was a great line.
bitch.
Bitch. Tom Cruise, motherfucker.
He was so feisty.
Oh,
especially
God.
at the very end.
Yeah.
Just
He
his attitude was
was.
just, he was great.
He was going in and out of a German accent. He was delivering one-liners. He was all over the place.
He was.
Like, you don't need the German accent. We believe that you're a fascist spy.
The machine.
So Jenny tries to shoot him with the flare gun, but only manages to set the blimp on fire.
Yeah, this was her worst
Ladies.
moment.
She was like,
Like,
whoops.
Well, because also, not
why
only
your
did
wife
she
can't
kill
drive
one
the Zeppelin.
Nazi, she probably killed a lot of people in Hollywood.
Yeah, that blimp goes right down, and because it takes out. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it takes out a huge chunk
That
of
fire-
If you've been to
Hills.
LA, there's a lot going on below the Hollywood sign. Houses, businesses, all kinds. It's not just a valley.
And California doesn't do well with fires.
No.
No, it does not. It does not.
I doubt that's a modern issue.
As soon as they get a Republican governor again, they'll stop. That's what the president says.
Well,
The wildfires will stop.
Yeah, drought's coming back, I'm sure, too.
Sinclair says his evil farewells and flies away on the rocket pack, which bursts into flames, causing Sinclair to follow to his death, where he explodes upon landing on the Hollywoodland sign, which then just becomes the Hollywood sign.
Yep.
It did at one point say Hollywoodland.
Yeah.
It did. It was
did.
a real estate advertisement. They were advertising real estate.
The Hollywood Hills, the valley,
Yeah.
living in the valley. Yeah. And a fire took it down, speaking of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Neville Chamberlain.
Yep, it was him.
It's like a Michener novel about it, I'm sure.
That's funny. Yeah.
3,000 page.
Yeah, I was going to say
Hollywood.
about Hollywood.
And it's all culminates in a fire in the Hollywood sign.
We start in the year 3000 BC.
all the way up to
With what's his name? Wedge and Tyler. What were the
the cave, the hill people.
Lothar,
Wark and Tyler.
Wark and Tyler.
A saber-toothed tiger wanders into a tar pit in Brea.
Yeah, exactly.
A butterfly flaps its wings in Saigon.
Lothar dies on a balloon.
What do these things have in common? Finance.
Real estate. No, there was no real estate in this.
Just
nationals.
Yeah, no real estate. Jenny and Cliff climb to the top of the flaming blimp, where they come face to face with Lothar.
There was real estate. The Nazis were going to take America with jetpacks.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's all about real estate.
Yeah, and there's intellectual real estate.
Yeah.
Property.
However, at that moment, the blimp starts to explode, and Lothar is engulfed in flames as the airship goes down. But Cliff and Jenny are rescued at the last moment by Howard Hughes and Peavy flying an autogyro.
How would they get onto the autogyro safely?
Yeah. without the propeller.
It has a propeller on top.
Yes.
And a propeller on front.
Yes. It's
How did who get on safely?
That's a terrifying vehicle.
The two of them get onto that safely. They dropped a ladder, right?
They dropped a ladder.
Okay, they dropped a ladder.
Howard Hughes is like, I designed this to kill myself.
And they just hung on the ladder and flew down.
Yeah, I remember them pulling up and just being like, what the and it was very late when I was watching this. Like,
and then he had the idea for TWA.
Right. Yeah. A few days later at the Bulldog Cafe, Hughes presents Cliff with a brand new GB Air Racer and a fresh pack of Beeman's gum.
Yeah. Just
the gum was a
remember
real
Will
touch.
Ferrell from Talladega Nights. Yeah. If you don't chew Beeman's, fuck you. If you don't chew Big Red.
As Hughes leaves, Jenny returns Peavy's rocket pack blueprints, which he found in Sinclair's home. Peavy decides that with some modifications, he can build an even better one. Roll credits.
Rocket Man 2.
Hey, wait, Peavy, were you not paying attention?
Howard Hughes
Don't make that.
had a short conversation with Cliff. He's just like, what was it like strapping that thing on your back?
Oh, yeah.
And Cliff says, it was the closest I'll ever get to heaven. Then he looks over at Jenny. So, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Bow, 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 bow.
Because heaven is a place on Jennifer Connolly's body.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Yep. Always been lovely.
She's an attractive lady.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the Rocketeer. I dug it. It was fun. It was good fun. Early 90s Disney. Like, it was a well-made film.
I like period pieces.
Yeah.
And Disney knows how to do period pieces well. But I like the 20s through 40s kind of, those are fun. Lots of Art Deco.
The Art Deco.
The cars
look.
are badass. The men dress so great. The women, of course. Yeah. So it's cool. Like LA Confidential, things like that.
Yeah.
I like those period pieces.
Obviously, it was very different story-wise, but I got a strong Indiana Jones vibe from it. And it might have just been the era, but also just the way they shot it, the music.
Yeah. I mean, that's,
I did
the attitude of the
I mean,
characters.
they were both based on the serials of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And but I got the same vibe as well. And obviously, so did Siskel and Ebert because they brought up the new Indiana Jones movies. But it's funny, because there's nothing like other than Nazis, which they didn't invent. George Lucas didn't invent Nazis. It'd be great to blame him for that too. But yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good movie. I don't think we have really much to say about that.
Yeah.
This was the first time I'd seen it. I don't recall ever seeing it as a kid.
Yeah, Andy
Or
hadn't
a
seen it.
teenager.
I remember seeing it, and I remember liking it because, as we know, there weren't a lot of superhero movies before this. The best one was Batman '89, but then it was like, okay, I'm going to, Rocketeer, sure, I'll go see it. Give me another. And like I said, his helmet was so cool. Yeah, it was just fun to see another comic-esque thing.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I just remember more of what this movie looks like than what happened in the
happened,
movie.
yeah.
Just the look of it
Same here.
was so just distilled into my brain as a 4-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
There was one moment that made me laugh out loud, and it was from I remember it from trailers at the time, but when Cliff tells Jenny that he's the Rocketeer, and she says, "The Rock who?"
The Rock of who?
I don't know why. That just tickled me.
Yeah, he's all the Rock and Fire Explosion show.
Jigga what?
Jigga what?
I don't want to work.
Exactly.
That's what I thought when she said it. I was like, "You so flow."
Rocketeer.
So it's a fun little movie. It's cute. Looking back, it's not too childish, but it's also there's nothing wrong with
I could see
kids
Disney
loving it.
redoing something like this at some point in the future, and saying this is a new hero kind of thing.
But
that's
because
Disney.
I mean, just like Condor Man, Rocketeer is in their stable of superheroes.
Oh yeah,
and I had mentioned
power.
earlier about the new children's show, Rocketeer.
Right.
Billy Connolly does a voice on that as well.
No, Bill Campbell.
Yes, Billy Connolly.
I wish it was Billy Connolly because he's one of my
God.
favorite comedian actors. Oh my God, he's so hilarious. That would be great.
Billy Campbell, yes.
Yeah.
He the same last name, C-Chord.
Oh, cool.
So the main character,
not the G chord.
Most men can't find the G chord.
It's a myth.
The G diminished. It's the real secret right there.
G sus. She's a little frigid.
The main character on this new show is a young girl who takes up the mantle of the Rocketeer. And she is of the same family, the C-Chord.
The C-Chord.
And finds granddad's jetpack kind of thing.
Right.
And
does this take place in modern times? Or
I believe so.
Okay.
I didn't look into it a ton. But Bill Campbell is credited as Dan C-Chord as opposed to Cliff.
Yeah.
But then also the Rocketeer. And
okay.
Of the 6 episodes, he's been in 3 so far.
Huh.
Well, yeah, and this Cliff could be that little girl's grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time-wise.
Yeah.
Almost like an Iron Heart, Iron Man kind of passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Well, even though she didn't take the torch, she built her own. Anyways, Ironheart's dope.
Well, guys, we do have to put this thing on our big list of movies we've watched. We've got to rank it.
All right.
We were talking a little bit earlier. We were kind of talking about starting the conversation smack dab in the middle. This is the 20th film we have watched for this podcast.
20.
A score of films we have watched. A fortnight of films. Wait, no, it's 2 weeks. Never mind.
Fortnight's 2 weeks. Yeah.
So number 10, we've got Supergirl. I would posit that this is perhaps a better film than Supergirl.
I think this is better than Supergirl.
Yeah, I can say that.
The script's tighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Way tighter.
Yeah.
It's just a better.
Made a little more sense.
Right.
Yes. Looked better.
Right.
Yeah.
And the things we liked about Supergirl were unintentional on the filmmakers.
Yeah.
Well,
you know.
and there was the only confusion, like with the how did this Zeppelin get here, was missing things.
Right.
You know, they showed us everything.
They showed it. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. No, they really. It was a tight script. Yeah.
All right. So that's number 10. What's at number 5?
At number 5, we've got Superman 2.
Okay.
Is this better than Darkman?
Oh.
Well, Darkman's at number 6.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is better than
It's
Darkman.
a very different film than Darkman.
It is.
And they both came out.
They both were
very close to each other.
fun.
Yeah. It's similar into the case that they have distinct styles.
Yeah.
I don't want to
they
choose
do.
one stylistically over the other because I prefer
I think there are a lot of things about this though that are better.
So okay, I think
Yeah.
I think Darkman was made with a single filmmaker's it was a very auteur film.
Right, we like it because it looked like Raimi,
but it was
not because it was a brilliant script.
It wasn't it wasn't a really great story.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a simple revenge story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the story
Where this was not. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, this
Yeah.
was not. There was no like personal stake. Like my parents got
This
shot
was
in an
fighting
alley
the
or
Nazis.
my girlfriend. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
And I
girl.
love to fly.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
well, and now I've got to save my girlfriend.
Yeah, she happens.
Like-
Yeah, right. But the motivation is the
Jenny.
Nazis, the spy. Can't have no damn spies.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah,
what?
yeah, because the Nazis would have been deprived of it anyway if it had just been destroyed. But he had to save Jenny.
So just below Darkman is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do
Yes.
we want to say it's better than?
I think it's definitely better than.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm convinced that it's better than Darkman. I could definitely,
I think so too.
I think I'd put it above Darkman as well. Would we put it above Superman 2? I think that's kind of.
Zod, Non,
I mean-
Ursa.
I mean, that's a classic of film.
Think of
Yeah.
the
Despite what we may have
Kryptonians.
said about it when we were discussing it at the time.
But
It's
right,
not a great
but we all,
movie.
yeah. I mean, we all had memories of it though.
Yeah.
Right? You know, Superman 2.
I would
Stuck
say
out in
that
my mind
this,
more than any-
This is lesser than Superman 2,
But more than Darkman.
but
So
more than Darkman.
That would put it at number 6, right?
In our arbitrary ranking
Below
Yes,
scale.
exactly.
And which
already
is
feel-
still below Swamp Thing.
No, and I'm at the point now where it's just a matter of principle. Yeah, like, I don't care. Well, once we finally get to Endgame, I'll be like, I don't know. First Swamp Thing though.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's gonna be hard.
You
to
can
knock
see the
that.
back of the suit, but I don't know.
I'm just wondering at one point Swamp Thing's going to fall out of the top 10. It may take a while.
I feel like it's kind of a geeky grudge thing we're doing unintentionally. Just like leave it there.
We really like Wes Craven, you guys.
We do.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, so yeah, what,
All right.
6?
we'll put it at
Allison?
number
Yeah.
6, which is the same place we put Darkman.
Oh, yeah.
last
Check
time.
out, it's on Disney Plus. Check out The Rocketeer. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's bright.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Kids, it's great for kids.
Yeah.
I would say. I
agree.
remember this from being a young kid and just devouring this movie. I remember my clamshell movie case and like putting it in constantly.
Carrying it around.
I don't remember anything about the movie because I hadn't seen it in 25 years. But
The case.
So that's it for us this week, guys. Next week, we will be watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
It was warm up your Vanilla Ice records.
So I'd like to point out that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 came out. So between the time Batman and the Batman sequel came out, they made 2 turtle movies.
Wow. They're like, we'll see your Batman.
Right.
We'll raise you a couple turtles.
Next week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. That's it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. This has been Throw Smiley, and I would have been a fantastic Lady Catherine.
I'm Josh Cece, and I ordered some soup for you.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to go back to flying where the air is too thin.
I'm Alaric Weber. Meet me by the big fish now.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producer Atticus Burkett, producers Michael Beckwith, Jojo Birchtree, Hedda Paulson, Kirsten Reed and Alyssa Dent, and Katie and Finn Thorpe. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Harmless Phosphorescence is a part of the Harmless Entertainment Network. Become a patron at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Thank you for listening.